Hey guys, it's Karina with Karina Lives to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. So yes, it's another new pen day. There have been a lot coming recently, but I'm very happy with this one. This one was, well, you know what, before I tell you the story about it, let's open it up. All right, so opening the package. I love that right on the flap it says, thank you, Karina. And, ooh, thank you for your purchase. I hope you love the pen. What is this? Oh, and this is model Taper M material at the edge of Oopsie by Tim Crow. All the best, Terry at Hogtown Pens. So Terry of Hogtown Pens is actually a Canadian pen maker, and I was just so happy to be able to find a Canadian pen maker. So what is in here? So this is the pen, and then are they maple candies? Oh, look, oh, you can smell it. Oops. Oh. And then, what is this? Oh my gosh, is this a magnet? It is. Cool, cool, cool. That is really cool. I love that. I have a pegboard that I'm going to stick it onto. And then we've got the invoice and some paper. All right, so let's put these aside and look at the pen. So the pen itself comes in a cardboard box, which, oof, is not easy for me to open. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. It is beautiful. Look at that. So the blank, or basically the material that the pen was made from, was designed by Turnt Pen Co. So Tim of Turnt Pen Co. And what Terry at Hogtown Pens has done is actually, he's the one who shapes it and adds all of the features that make it a pen, and he polishes it and finishes it. So there's basically two that are involved in this. You've got the blank maker, which is Turnt Pen Co., and then you've got Terry of Hogtown Pens who shapes it into the pen. But look at the depths of the shimmer in there and the different colors, and I can actually say chatoyance and know what it means, because look at the depths of the color and the shimmer. And the original blank is called At the Edge of Autumn, which I believe has more of the red and the orange. And then this one, At the Edge of Oopsie, was, I think, a mistake in the process of making At the Edge of Autumn. This one turned out more teal and blue than the red, but I love the swirls of this. And I love that you can pair this with so many different ink colors. Like, look at that. And then this comes, this comes with, it's a gold medium Yovo nib. It's a medium Yovo nib. I think I wanted an extra fine, but I have extra fine Yovo nibs. It's not a big deal. And then inside, you have a standard international converter. So love that. And then, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So first test that we're gonna do really is how many turns does it take to open? So one, about two turns to open, which is not too bad. And then the pen itself has a good size grip section, and then there's a little bit of a flare up towards the edge here. And then the threads themselves, not at all sharp, and a very little step up to the rest of the body. The shape of the pen is your typical cigar shape, but with the flattened finials. And then there is not a clip with this one. And the finish that I chose for this one was the polished finish. You could have gotten this in a matte satin, but I think the polished really brings out the sparkles in this. So let's compare the size of this to other pens in my collection. So here are some of the other pens that I'm going to compare it to. Firstly, my Pilot Kakuno. Secondly, we've got the Sailor Pro Gear Slim, and we've got a TWSBI Diamond 580, my Pelikan M605. We've got a Benu Talisman, and then lastly, an Esterbrook ST. You can tell the Esterbrook ST is actually larger. Like, let's move this just a tad. And you can see the size of the SD compared to that. It is a little bit longer. In terms of width, this actually, the Taper M, or the Taper Medium model, looks slightly wider in the body, but let's look at them uncapped. So uncapped, the Esterbrook SD actually looks a little shorter than the Taper Medium. And I'm looking at the grip section, and the grip section actually looks a little longer than the Esterbrook SD, but they both have Yovo nibs, so that part is exactly the same. And then it is a little bit longer than the Pilot Kakuno, definitely longer than the Sailor Pro Gear Slam. But looking at it compared to the Twisby Diamond 580, it is about the same size actually. And the grip section looks to be thinner, narrower on the Diamond 580. And then a little bit longer than the Pelican M605. And I want to compare these two actually. It's about the same size as the new Talisman. Now, in terms of posting, I don't actually post my pens, but I will show you for this particular model. It could post if you wanted to, and it does post securely, but it does make it quite a big pen. So I would not post this pen. I don't post my pens anyway, but if you are a poster, you certainly could. I don't know how secure that would be. It's okay. So that's something for you guys to think about. So the weight of this pen, if let me turn my scale on here, the weight of the pen, and consider that it does have the converter in it. It is 18 grams, and then uncapped, it is rolling off the scale 13 grams. So the cap itself is 5 grams. Holding it in my hand, it actually feels really comfortable. I like that there isn't a huge step up from the threads, from the grip to the threads to the body. It feels really comfortable where I hold it, but also feels really comfortable at this part of my hand. I find that certain pens, that if they've got like a clip or something, or what's the word I'm looking for, like facets that just hit my hand the wrong way right here, it's very uncomfortable. And that's actually why I sold pens like the Benu Euphoria, because just the way the pen was hitting me right here was uncomfortable. Even the Pilot Prera, the way the pen was hitting me right at that spot was just uncomfortable. But this feels really lovely in the hand, and it's the perfect width for me in the grip section. I asked for a 10.5 millimeter grip section, and then the body itself, I think I'm going to post a picture of the measurements here from Terry's website or Terry's Instagram, but you can definitely choose the type or the model of pen that you'd like, but also choose the size. So I chose a medium taper, but then I wanted a slightly smaller grip section because I'm finding the sweet spot for me is about the 10.5 millimeters for the grip section. Oh, this feels so nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up. So the nib that came on with this is the medium Yovo nib, and it's the gold-plated one. I'm actually going to just change it out for an extra fine nib. I actually have a Yovo extra fine nib that I purchased from Goulet Pens, and I'm going to switch that on here. So it's really easy to do that. I took the converter off, and then you actually just turn this to take out the whole nib and feed section. Now the nib from Goulet Pens is just the nib, it's not the feed itself. Depending on who you're buying your extra nibs from, some will sell you just the nib and some will sell you the nib and feed. Now I also have the Goulet grip here, so I'm going to actually carefully remove the nib from the feed. Give me a sec. That came off a lot easier when I wasn't using the grip. So there is the nib, the feed, and the actual section there. So I'm going to remove that one, then add the Goulet nib here and make sure it is lined up as best as possible. And then there is the way that the feed is. You could see that there's a little bit in terms of the bottom there, terms of that section where you have to line it up, and I hope I'm lining it up correctly. Yes, I am. So line that up and slip that back in. Ooh. I'm always conscious whether I'm doing this properly. Let me do this off camera. So there, I was able to slip that in properly, and now I can put it back into the grip section of the Hogtown pen, my taper medium, and then I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up. So the ink that I'm using today is Pilot Iroshizuku Kujiku, which looks like this on Rhodia paper, and I feel like is a good match for this pen to like hit a bit of the greens and the blues and the teals in there. I feel like it's a great match. So let's do a quick writing sample. So once again, this is the Hogtown Pens taper medium model. Gosh, did I get ink in there? I'm like, I can't tell what's ink now and what is the pen. And this is the At the Edge of Oopsie, which is from Turnt Pen Co. So the maker of the blank is Turnt Pen Co. And then Terry of Hogtown Pens is the one who shapes it into the pen and adds the section and the feed and just turns a blank into this beautiful pen. And it currently has, well, actually, I'm going to note here that it came with a medium Yovo nib, but it currently has on here an extra fine Yovo number 6 Goulet nib. And it's got a good flow with, I'm gonna write down the ink name here, inked with Pilot Iroshizuku Kujiku. Now, I feel a little bit of feedback on this pen to the point where it's almost scratchy. This is not the pen that this is not the nib that Terry sent. This is the extra fine nib that I wanted to try from Goulet. But let me just do a couple more things here to just try it. And it could be that, you know, maybe there's just a little bit of misalignment. I don't know. Like, where is it? You know, funny enough, now that I'm writing with it like that, it's smooth. There's feedback, yes, as you would get with the Yovo nib. But let's see here. And I'm gonna write the date that I received this, which is, what's the date today? April 14th, 2023. So I had this commissioned back, I think, in January. And the turnaround time is normally about 10 to 12 weeks, I think, or 12 to 16 weeks. And then Terry messaged me a few weeks ago saying that he had the blank and he was ready, and I was super, super excited. And then, you know, what he also does is when you are finally ready, or when he's finally ready with the pen, you actually make the decision whether or not you want to purchase. You don't have to put down a deposit or anything. It's basically, if you're ready to purchase the pen, you can once it's made. There's no commitment to buying the pen, which I think is great because you don't necessarily know what a pen is going to look like just from the blank, but this is absolutely beautiful. And what I love about these types of pens is that, yes, it does hold a number 6 Yovo nib, which I have a few of now, so that I can basically put any of those nibs into this pen. And why do I buy so many hand-turned pens? 1, they're beautiful. 2, I love supporting the smaller pen makers. 3, the design of this particular pen body and the way that it feels in my hand is fantastic. And that for me is a whole part of the pen writing experience. If the pen feels comfortable in my hand, fantastic. Then if I have the ability to change the nib out to whatever I want it to be, then I can keep the comfort level of the pen body and then just switch around the nib to whatever I feel like it. So this feels really, really comfortable in the hand. I'm going to show you in comparison what the the Esterbrook Esty looks like in my hand, because this so far has been the most comfortable pen in my hand. And I don't know if I can do a side by side here with a picture of me holding the Esty versus me holding the taper medium. But the fact that it just rests nicely in my hand, it is a good girth, it's not too narrow. I absolutely love it. So final thoughts on this beautiful pen. I love the way that the body looks and the different colors, and just look at those shimmers. Like, it's gorgeous. I can already see like using Diamond Caramel Sparkle in this. You can use any shimmer ink in this, although I probably wouldn't use it with the extra fine nib. You could use Velvet Ballet from Ferris Wheel Press would have matched really well here. You could use a blue ink, any type of like Konpeki would be good in this. Oh gosh, just look at this. So this is why I buy the hand turn pens. Yes, they are a little bit more expensive, and yes, it is a steel nib, but you are paying for the artistry, you're paying for the craftsmanship. But also, I like I said, I love supporting the small makers. And once you find a model and a body that fits in your hand perfectly, that's all you want. That's all you want. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great day.